Hello all and welcome to another Caffeine Entertainment video. It's Art here with my top 5 favorite podcasts, and you're even going to get a bonus gaming podcast. So it's my top 5 gaming podcast plus a bonus one, so you're actually getting 6 that I like to listen to when I game. When I game or if I'm outside doing stuff, these are the gaming podcasts I go to when I'm not listening to an audiobook or a book podcast, because book podcast will be Wednesday's video. So my gaming podcast, some of these you may have heard of and some of them not. I don't know. But my first one is PlayStation related, and that is Sacred Symbols and Sacred Symbols Plus, because I'm a member of Last Stand Media's Patreon, so I listen to Last Stand Media's 2 podcasts, and I watch them on YouTube if I have the time. But Sacred Symbols and Sacred Symbols Plus stars Colin Moriarty from IGN, or formerly from IGN and formerly from Kind of Funny, and Chris Raygun from his YouTube channel and other things. I like how these guys just take it. While Colin definitely has industry knowledge, inside industry knowledge, he also takes it from the gamer's perspective. He is also a fellow trophy hunter like I am. He is a top-notch mind who I don't always agree with, but that's the great thing of human nature. You don't have to always agree with someone to like them. And Sacred Symbols and Sacred Symbols Plus are 2 of my favorite podcasts. Well, really they're one, because Sacred Symbols Plus is an adjunct to Sacred Symbols. But the Sacred Symbols brand is one of my go-to right away PlayStation podcasts. Just a great time. The other PlayStation podcast I listen to is with it's PS I Love You Xoxo, and that's Kind of Funny PlayStation podcast featuring Blessing Adeoye Jr. and Greg Miller. Greg also has that industry insider knowledge and has connections with PlayStation to some degree. And hearing his fanboyness and his take on things, especially I like to do this where I listen to Sacred Symbols and then PS I Love You XOXO kind of back to back to kind of get a full, well-rounded picture. I do much prefer when Colin and Greg were together, because then you got both sides of the same coin in the same podcast. But now I can at least get both sides of the same coin in 2 different podcast libraries. So those are my PlayStation podcasts I go for. Now, you're wondering, what other gaming podcasts should you go for? Well, I go for 3 Xbox gaming podcasts. 3 of them. And that's because Sony does not have an official PlayStation podcast, as far as I know, but Microsoft does, in a way, have its own official Microsoft Xbox podcast, and that is Major Nelson Radio, featuring Major Nelson, better known as Larry Herb. I love that show because he's a gamer, he's all about Xbox, but he does talk about PlayStation and Nintendo, and he is very cross. It is Xbox centric, but you can tell he's a gamer who games everywhere too. That's evident from listening to him for a long time. The other 2 podcasts I listen to that are Xbox centric, one I just found and one I've been a fan of since its inception. The one I've been a fan of since its inception is the Kind of Funny Xcast. I love this because It's Snowbike Mic. It is Gary Whitta from Star Wars Rogue One fame. And it's Paris Lily. Used to be Alana Pierce, but it's Paris Lily now. And these three are Xbox-centric, just like PS I Love You Xoxo is PlayStation-centric. These three are Xbox-centric. They take things from the Xbox standpoint, but they will also give credit where credit is due on the other side of the aisle, which I find is important. Because I'm not about gaming tribalism. And any podcast that shows tribalism, I tend not to listen to. Like, I don't really listen to IGN's podcast because they are very, at times, tribalistic. Of PlayStation's awesome and Xbox sucks, and vice versa. And I prefer both, as you all well know. I have both. I'm in both ecosystems, so I love them both. Like, I game anywhere. I'm gaming agnostic. I game anywhere the games are. And the other gaming podcast I listen to is also the brand new. It's in its infancy. I think it's only got 20 or 21 shows. And that is the Last Stand Media podcast, Defining Duke. I love that Last Stand Media finally branched out from PlayStation and has an Xbox podcast. And it's a very balanced and Xbox-centric podcast. I enjoy that very, very much. If I'm in one I'm a gamer who wants to listen about everything. I also listen to the Nintendo Power podcast, but I don't know if that's made by Nintendo or not. And it comes out so sporadically that I didn't really put it on this list. But so those are my 5 ones. PS I Love You Xoxo, the Sacred Symbols branded podcast, both Sacred Symbols and Sacred Symbols Plus, Major Nelson Radio, Defining Duke, and the Kinda Funny Xcast. Those are my 5 go-to gaming podcasts. But I do have a 6th. And the reason why I put it off and separate from these ones is I must first put a disclaimer that I know both of the hosts of this, and it is a different type of gaming podcast. It is a video game history podcast, and the name of the podcast is They Create Worlds. And it stars my graphics and tech guy, Jeff, with his and my buddy, Alex, who's a gaming historian. And they talk about gaming history and whatnot. And they take it more from a factual industry standard. They don't really too much put their spin on it. They keep it straight into the facts. And I will say that this podcast is very factual. It is very knowledgeable. So if that's what you're looking for, just search They Create Worlds in Google, and you'll probably find it, or your podcast catcher, and you'll probably find it. I'll try to put a link in the comments or in the description down below as well. I'll see what I can do about that. So, those are the 6 gaming podcasts I listen to when I'm gaming or when I'm out and about and want to have a connection to the gaming world. That's what I listen to. Now, on Wednesday, you'll get the book podcast I listen to, because I figured I'd do something different this week, any kind of branch out content. But this is where I say I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and please ding the notification bell to be notified when I upload a video. And without further ado, happy listening. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and game on. I'll see you again soon. And peace.